Are you ready to uncover the dark secrets hidden behind college walls? The hushed whispers in empty hallways? The shadows that seem to move on their own? And the stories whispered among students that send chills down your spine? Every campus has its secrets, its own collection of tales that have haunted its halls for years. Tonight, we delve into the heart of 3 true college horror stories that will leave you questioning what's real and what lurks just beyond the veil of darkness. These aren't just stories, guys. These are real accounts of terror that continue to haunt those who experience them. Picture this. It's a Friday night. The air is thick with the promise of freedom and the excitement of the weekend ahead. For college students, this means parties, study sessions that quickly turn into gossip fests, and maybe even a late-night pizza run. But for one particular dorm room, the atmosphere was heavy with an unsettling dread. This is the story of Sarah, a bright-eyed freshman excited to finally be living the college experience. She'd moved into her dorm room just a week prior, quickly befriending her roommate, Jessica. Jessica was everything Sarah wasn't: outgoing, bold, and always the life of the party. Sarah, on the other hand, was more introverted, preferring a quiet night in with a good book. Despite their differences, they seemed to click, their personalities balancing each other out. One Friday night, Jessica was getting ready for a party, her usual bubbly self, blasting music and trying on different outfits, while Sarah was curled up in her bed, nose deep in a mystery novel, perfectly content to enjoy a peaceful evening alone. Jessica, after a flurry of hairspray and perfume, turned to Sarah, gave her a quick wave, and said, "Don't wait up. See you later." That was the last time Sarah ever saw her roommate. When Jessica didn't return the next morning, Sarah didn't think much of it. She assumed Jessica had crashed at a friend's place after the party. It wasn't until Sunday night, with Jessica's bed still cold and untouched, that a knot of worry started to form in Sarah's stomach. She contacted their friends, but no one had seen Jessica since Friday night. Panic began to set in. Sarah immediately called campus security and reported Jessica missing. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation turned up nothing. Jessica's belongings remained untouched in their room. Her phone went straight to voicemail, and there was no sign of her anywhere. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. The police were baffled. There was no forced entry, no sign of a struggle, and no trace of Jessica. The case went cold, leaving more questions than answers. What happened to Jessica? Did she run away, or was there something more sinister at play? Sarah was left to deal with the aftermath, haunted by the memory of her roommate's last words and the chilling realization that someone could simply disappear without a trace. The empty side of the dorm room served as a constant reminder of the mystery surrounding Jessica's disappearance. This story, my friends, is a chilling reminder that even in the seemingly safe bubble of a college campus, darkness can lurk in the most unexpected corners. It's a story that sends chills down the spines of every student who hears it, a reminder that some mysteries are never truly solved. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the unsettling world of college horror stories, exploring the tales that keep students awake at night, wondering what lurks just beyond the shadows of their dorm room walls. Our next story takes us to the hallowed halls of the college library, a place usually associated with quiet study sessions and the comforting smell of old books. But for the students of this university, the library held a sinister secret. It was said to be haunted by the ghost of a former student, forever bound to the place where she met her untimely end. The legend goes that Emily, a brilliant but overworked student, spent countless nights in the library, pushing herself to the limit. She was known for her dedication, often found hunched over her books long after everyone else had gone home. One fateful night, Emily suffered a fatal heart attack, collapsing amidst the towering bookshelves. Since then, students have reported strange occurrences, whispers of a cold presence, the faint scent of lavender perfume, and books falling from shelves on their own. Some even claim to have seen Emily's apparition, a shadowy figure gliding through the stacks, her eyes filled with sadness and longing. One account comes from a group of students studying for finals. It was well past midnight, and the library was deserted except for them and the security guard. They noticed a flickering light coming from the back of the library in the restricted section. Curious, they cautiously made their way towards the light, their hearts pounding with fear. As they approached, the temperature dropped noticeably, and unease washed over them. The light came from behind a locked door. One student reached for the handle, but it was locked. Just as they were about to turn back, they heard a soft sigh from the other side. Frozen in place, they listened intently. The sigh came again, followed by the sound of pages turning. Unable to bear the suspense, they fled the library, their screams echoing through the empty halls. The next morning, they told their story, but most dismissed it as a prank. However, the students knew what they had heard. They had heard the sigh of a restless spirit, trapped within the library walls, forever bound to the place where she spent her final moments. The legend of Emily, the library apparition, continues to haunt the university, a chilling reminder that some spirits linger long after their physical bodies have passed on. Our final story takes us outside, into the heart of the campus, where sprawling lawns meet ancient trees and winding paths lead to hidden corners shrouded in shadow. This tale speaks of a figure far more elusive, far more unsettling, a phantom that has haunted the campus for decades, leaving behind an unsettling trail of whispers and fear. Known only as the Wanderer, this mysterious entity is said to appear late at night, his silhouette a fleeting glimpse against the moonlit buildings, his presence marked by a sudden chill in the air and an overwhelming sense of dread. No one knows who he is or why he roams the campus, but rumors about his identity and his motives have circulated for generations of students. Some say he was a professor, driven mad by a failed experiment, forever searching for something lost within the confines of the university. Others whisper that he was a student, so consumed by grief over a lost love that his spirit remained, unable to leave the place where his heart was broken. Whatever his story, one thing remains consistent: encounters with the Wanderer are always deeply unsettling. There's the story of two students walking back to their dorm after a late-night movie. As they cut through the quad, laughing about a funny scene, the laughter died in their throats. The temperature plummeted, and a thick silence descended upon them. In the distance, beneath the dim glow of a street lamp, they saw him. A tall, shadowy figure, his face obscured by a wide-brimmed hat, stood motionless, watching them. The students froze, fear rooting them to the spot. For what felt like an eternity, they stared at the figure, their hearts pounding in their chests. Then, as quickly as he appeared, he was gone, vanishing into the shadows as if he were never there. Shaken to their core, the students ran back to their dorm, the image of the Wanderer seared into their minds. Then there's the account of a security guard making his rounds. It was a stormy night, the wind howling through the trees, rain lashing against his windshield. As he drove past the old science building, he noticed a figure standing on the steps. It was the Wanderer, his silhouette stark against the light emanating from inside the building. The guard stopped his car, rolling down his window, calling out to the figure, asking if he needed assistance. But the figure didn't respond. He simply stood there, his head tilted at an unnatural angle, as if studying the guard. A chill ran down the guard's spine, and a wave of unease washed over him. Something about the figure, the way he stood, the intense, unblinking stare, sent shivers down his spine. He decided not to press the issue, rolling up his window and driving away. The image of the Wanderer's haunting gaze burned into his memory. The stories of the Wanderer continue to this day, whispered among students, passed down from one class to the next. Is he merely a figment of their collective imagination, a ghost story meant to keep them from wandering the campus alone at night? Or is there something more to this phantom? Something darker? Something that lurks in the shadows of the campus, watching, waiting. As we reach the end of our journey into the heart of college horror, One question remains. Were these just stories, or could these horrors be lurking in the shadows of your campus? The next time you find yourself walking alone at night, the wind whispering through the trees, a sudden chill running down your spine, remember the tales of the vanishing roommate, the library apparition, and the phantom of the campus. Remember that every shadow holds a story. Every corner might whisper a secret. The line between reality and nightmare can blur, especially within the historic walls of a college campus. Are you brave enough to face the darkness and uncover the truth that lies hidden in plain sight?